Welcome everybody. Just came out of a briefing with our technical team, Rivers, NIWA, on the basis of advice from NIWA and the latest forecasts, around to reassess whether or not we have evacuated enough of Westport. The advice from that team is that they're comfortable that the current areas we've evacuated are adequate, with a little bit of buffer zone for what's anticipated. That will be rechecked again later tonight around 6:30, just to make sure there's no requirement to extend any of that. Those evacuations as planned today are now complete, and it's been a very, very good effort by the emergency services volunteers and most of all our residents who have responded appropriately. A significant number of people in those houses had taken the option of self-evacuating in a proactive way over the last day or so. So very, very good to see almost half of those people had already left. So that's very good. Further updates later on tonight. The Rivers team are monitoring the Buller and Rivers further north hourly. So for any changes, at the moment the weather is tracking exactly as forecast. So that peak river period around 2:30 a.m. Saturday is still the main area of concern. Wholesome welfare site is up and running. I've been out there earlier today. It's looking adequate for the purpose that it's there for. Good team out there welcoming the residents as they arrive. Significant number of people are evacuating as part of the evacuation order, but are choosing to make their own arrangements, so they're not presenting to the welfare centre. So again, that is a really good news story around the friends and family that I'm sure are taking in people in and around the community. So although the storm is still progressing, it is progressing as expected. This rain is meant to go on till later tonight, and then of course the rivers will peak a subsequent time after that as it finds its way to the sea. Any other questions?
How many people do you think we displaced tonight?
I'm unsure. There's something like 100 odd, over 100 that are out at the Wholesome site that I'm aware of, and there'll be obviously a few hundred others that are with friends and family around town.
And a lot of people, we were up at the street, a lot of people door knocking, there was no one there, they were already left sort of thing. Do you think that's sort of people being proactive and just not wanting to get called out what happened in July last year?
Absolutely, yep, yeah. And the messaging has been going out now for almost a day and a half that this was coming and tracking as expected. And the people in the lowest lying areas, or the first that were affected in the July floods, of course, were given the heads up that they were likely to be the first to be asked to move today. So a number of them took that opportunity to just do that themselves in peacetime.
What's your modern telling you about the people at 2 o'clock? I'm not sure about numbers, but the anticipated evacuation circle and areas that have been evacuated are deemed to be more than adequate for what's anticipated at this stage. You must have based it on the lowest and highest model level, so what are those?
They're calling it similar to an event that happened in 2012, so slightly less than the July flood at this stage.
We heard that the worst case scenario was about 13.1 metres, is that true?
I haven't heard direct meterage in the river at this.
I have to say, I've been here for about 36 hours, and I have to say I've been extremely comforted by the fact that all the modelling that has been going on has been accurate so far. That there's a huge amount of experience here, unfortunately, from the last event to plan, and I have been really impressed with everyone at every level, and I think they are on top of this, and everything that can be done is being done. Of course, there's some uncertainty, but most of the modelling has been accurate.
Just on that comment before, so you reckon the modelling is suggesting the river may not get as high as what it did in July?
The advice we're getting is July would be at the absolute upper end of what they would anticipate based on the current model.
But it's rising at the moment about half a metre an hour, isn't it? Highest going up.
I'm not aware of the exact rate of rise, but the team are very comfortable that the rivers are being monitored and are progressing as they anticipated. So they're not. It's not being brought to my attention that they're more concerned about what's happening. It's performing as they anticipate.
Have you had any resistance to the evacuation order? like people not wanting to go?
Yeah, there are some people who chose not to go, and they'll be kept an eye on.
What will happen to them if they just say no?
Well, unfortunately, the risk is that they become a rescue sometime in the middle of the night, which is not what anybody wants. So it's far preferable that people cooperate.
Can you force people out?
I believe if we had to, they would, but I don't believe that's what the police have chosen to do.
What happened with the mix-up over initially the evacuation areas were much less than the subsequent evacuation areas? There was a lot of confusion and a lot of people were very happy with those messages. What happened?
I think the issue was the messaging was aimed to be kept really, really simple. So it was described as sort of blocks, which I think local people had reasonably good knowledge of. So it was a block from one street to the sea, which included a whole lot of streets. So what's come out later wasn't an extension of the evacuation area. It was just clarity of what streets exactly were within the areas that were already anticipated to be evacuated. Yeah, well, some of that was just needed to be, honed as the messaging had to be clarified.
I guess the advantage is that moving early, as officials have done, means at this time where mistakes might be made, that they can be rectified and no one's been put at danger. There's very little risk to property at this point, and all of this proactive work means that I hope there'll be a really a positive outcome from what is a challenging situation.
Jamie, in terms of infrastructure, how have things held up around roads and surface flooding and all that? Any major concerns?
So there's been quite significant surface flooding in and around town, but largely that network has coped, as far as I'm aware. There has been a number of local slips and local roads affected by debris and water over the roads and things like that, but no significant infrastructure damage I'm aware of at the moment.
How many rescues have you had to make so far with some people coming out and chopper just before?
That's the only sort of critical rescue that I'm aware of.
What happened there? Can you talk through that?
I'm not sure. I understand there was a water over the road that had isolated their property, and the helicopter crew went in to bring them out. In the Powerhouse Road area.
Let's say we get to 6:30 tonight, the risk is reassessed and it's decided that there are further evacuations needed. Is that not leaving things a bit too late and perhaps a bit too up to chance for residents?
There'll be no leaving anything up to chance, I can assure you of that. So if there's any extension to that, it will be well communicated. And again, the town has had 2 days to be put on notice to be prepared, and the messaging has been very clear that this is a moving, evolving event, and to stay posted on the official channels. And
Are you still expecting to make further evacuations?
not on the advice I've had so far.
Do you know how people in the north of Florida are going? People in those really isolated
Yeah, so the state highway is reopened to one lane, as far as I'm aware, and the emergency ops centre here are in contact with all of those communities further north, and understand that the local plans around evacuation and that are all in hand, and communication is maintained with them. So again, those rivers are being monitored by the team here and included in the advice to the controller.
And so just quickly, any initial government response? And I understand the emergency management is on the way tonight/tomorrow.
Yes, she is on her way to the West Coast now. She may not be here until tomorrow. Obviously, there are some questions around transport, but I've been talking directly to the Prime Minister and in communication with the Minister. So, a very good line of communication just to ensure that everything that is needed is being provided, and that is the case.
How do you feel overall about the preparation work? Do you think that there could have been any more done in, the months from July until now? How do you feel about all that?
I feel reasonably comfortable that what could have been done has been done, and particularly around the planning of evacuation. I think we've actually now got a very professional plan that will serve the district well going forward, in terms of everything from a full town evacuation down to what we've completed so far today in something like 4 hours time. So a very, very good response and a well thought out plan around how we would deal with that.
What about the whole issue of things like stock banks and things like that? I know that there's the $10 million upgrade that's still in planning, and sure these things have to go through processes. But is there any way that could have been accelerated or or more work done around, I guess, stopping flooding in the first place?
Oh, that'll be a matter for another day, not today. But it's fair to say that work is underway. That will be a major project and quite a complex project, and it is in the planning, and it will be finalised over the coming months, I'd imagine.
What's your message to all residents across the region? Because like you said, everyone's being impacted differently by this. Is there a unifying message for the region at all?
Well, absolutely. That the community, I think, has learnt a lot from July, and they've responded really, really well today. And so I guess it's that sticking together message. Obviously, the statistics will tell us that a lot of neighbours have reached out to neighbours and taken people in because they're not presenting in large numbers to our welfare centres. So it's absolutely thanking the community and the volunteers that have stepped up yesterday, helping with sandbagging, keeping in contact with one another, the community coordinators in Northern Bulla, and the emergency services that have come in from all over the South Island to assist with the evacuation today. I think that's a recognition of a great community, and that the support when it's needed is able to be brought in. And I think we should be quite proud of the early steps that we took to heed the red warning and do the best we could to prepare a district from something that we can't totally control.
I'd have to say the comments that I've received around the community have all been really positive. Obviously no one wants this event, but they've appreciated the proactive stance that the council and through leadership and all those people who have come in, and they appreciate that support.
But all the comments we've gotten because there was a lot of criticism about things that we've done over the line, like fixing the stock intake on a home, doing some flood protection work, reinstating the flood clean, it's still just in draft form. We still don't have an emergency management officer. There's a list of things the council still haven't met as a direct commitment on the flood. So there are a lot of things that shouldn't be done, and some were done at the last minute.
So almost every one of those things is done now,
But they were done at the last minute.
and no one is worse off because of it.
I'd have to say it would be great to have a perfect environment. I think the council and all those involved should be proud of what they've done. Some of it at the last minute, but it's been done to prevent any harm to individuals and to minimise the loss of property.
Talking about, I guess, the people that being a very early Saturday morning around that high tide at about 2 a.m, when's going to be your first update on Saturday morning about the extent of, I guess, damage?
I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. But
Probably won't be sleeping.
Yeah. Look, updates will be rolling as and when required, to be fair. Yeah. That's the advice to date. Yes, this weather is absolutely expected to pass through tonight. That associated floodwater will present to our river mouths by overnight, early hours of Saturday morning. And other than perhaps a bit of passing shower on Saturday afternoon, at the moment it looks like the end of this event, but time will tell, I guess.
Do you think those people who are at their Holston might be able to go home tomorrow?
I won't speculate on that, but I'll be surprised if they're not.
Jamie, just on the river rescue there up by Powerhouse Road, the family of 4 rescue on the tractor, what kind of message would you have for people evacuating and getting themselves stuck in a situation like that?
Just to absolutely take care out there. There's a lot of hazards. The roads are obviously flooded with surface flooding, and if you're concerned or you think it is likely that you will get into trouble, then act before you do. We don't want to, and that's the whole idea of this preemptive evacuations, is to avoid rescue scenarios. But I mean, everyone gets caught out. There's a great team of people able to respond, and of course that the message is if it is life-threatening and in danger, then it's 111 that you should be calling.
Have you got enough resources this time so people aren't really extremely long shifts as they were last time?
Yeah, I think we are quite well resourced. Yep, so absolutely. There's a number of controllers have been brought in. The joint committee met via electronic means today to appoint or ratify another couple of controllers from out of district. It's a procedural matter that has to be done. No, I think there's good support there from NEMA and others to make sure that EOC is fully staffed and available for 24-hour shifts.
When can we expect, will there be an update from the Minister on the rates?
I would imagine that there'll be plenty of media following Minister Allen around. So yeah, I don't know her schedule yet. Obviously, weather and transport will be a factor, but I anticipate she'll be in the district tomorrow.